Alright, hey guys. So today I'll be doing a video about some same SEO work. So basically, I'll be doing some SEO implementations we have done for a client, and I'm going to try my best to explain again the rationale of why I do certain things and what you can look out for when it comes to your website. Because as usual, a website without traffic, a website that doesn't get discovered by Google, it's not going to bring you any sales or um, any leads that will help you move your business. So yeah, here we go. Let me just get everything set up. And if you have any questions, feel free to jump in, ask me any questions if you like. If not, then I will try my best to explain exactly what I'm doing. Okay. All right, so for this client, what we actually done, so let me just give you a little bit of a profile about the client. So basically, this client is a client based in Australia, and they run a business revolving around corrosion, buildings, construction related type stuff. So that's the profile of the client. So what we have done for this client is we actually did a audit. We finished a full audit for them, and we kind of identified a lot of stuff that's going on. So the next phase, this phase, what we'll be doing is we'll be going into this and kind of figuring out what should we do with all this stuff that we found. And at the same time, see how we can move forward with this website, because end of the day, ultimately we want this website to we want to put this website in the best place in terms of organic, in terms of Google. So as you can see, this is the audit that we have ran with some integrations of Google Analytics and Ahrefs. So the reason why we integrate all these again is to make sure that we are prioritizing what we want to work on first for all the pages that is priority, right? So let me just take a look here. So we have already identified, so these three over here are the ones that we have created for the client, okay? But the rest are, so they already have their website content up. So what we do is kind of like cleaning up, because these websites these pages over here are considered old. So we're kind of figuring out what should we do with each individual page. Okay, and so let's start off with let's see. So first of all, we want to categorize all of these pages first. So it's a lot more easier for us to understand what each specific page is made for, because each individual pages have intention behind them. So they can either be information, they can either be lead generation. So there's a purpose behind each individual page, and we want to categorize all these. So let's take a look. So generally, homepage is mainly for lead generation, so I'm going to put it as that. And then a contact us page is mainly a informational page. And with this, there isn't 100% right or wrong, because sometimes a contact page might be a lead generation page to you. Sometimes a contact page can be a just a information page to you. So it doesn't really matter. There's no right or wrong here. So let me take a look at this. So this is, and sometimes you just want to open up the page and see what kind of page is this. So I would say this is a lead generation page, because end of the day, paint, concrete, and coating expert. So it's kind of like they are looking for expert or analysis, right? So the purpose of this page, It's mainly for lead generation, so you want to just put that in there. If you want this template, check out Ryan Stewart. His template works really well, and what I like to do is I like to modify things that suits myself. So it's a modified version of his template. So look at this. Okay, so essentially when you look at this website here, right, you can see that there's a lot of stuff going on. So the one thing that you want to do is to make sure that even before you go in and make any changes or any recommendations to your website, you want to make sure that you do it in a way that is more structured, so you don't get lost amongst all these URLs. So that's why we are classifying them into categories. And then later on when we make certain recommendations, or when we do certain analysis, we can do it in bulk. So it's not like, you do analysis for this page and then you move on to this page and then you move on to this page. But later on, what we can do is we can sort by, we just want to do analysis for all the lead generation sites, and then you can kind of do like a bulk analysis, and then you can move on to the rest. So this will help you analyze your website or your client's website a lot better. Yeah, so let me take a look at this. So this is what I'll consider like an informational page, because they are just showing their case study over here, right? So more of like a site information page. So site info, who we work for. So this is probably another site information page. Yeah. I would consider this. I would consider this an archive page, because it kind of it's kind of housing all these pages over here, and there's a 404 page. Okay, that's not good. So there's some 404s going on here. So let me just because this is a local service, so they don't necessarily have a product, but in this case their product will be considered their service, right? So that's why I indicated it as a product category. So moving on, coding inspector. So there's some stuff going on here. I wonder why Screaming Frog didn't crawl this page. Let me see if this is live. So if you want to check whether if your website is live on Google, you just do a site colon search, and if this is showing up, it means that Google has this page on their database, which means it's live. And if a website is live on their database and it's actually a 404 page, that is not good in terms of SEO, because you have a live page that is essentially a page that is no longer there. So not good. So I wonder why Screaming Frog didn't crawl the 404 page, which is kind of weird, because by right they should have crawled the 404 page, but I'm not seeing any 404 pages here. So I think what I'm going to do, right, is I'm going to do a recrawl just to make sure that I get all the URLs, because from this alone it seems like I'm missing some URL from the crawl. So do a crawl again. So crawling of a page, right, it's imagine if you have a house, and imagine there's a lot of house out there in the world. So what you're doing is you are essentially sending someone to go into the house and look at exactly what is going on in the house. How many bathrooms are there? How many living rooms are there? How many rooms are there? How many tables are there? How many chairs are there? and then you get a full floor plan and a full layout of exactly what the house look like. So translate that to online. When we do a crawl, so when we are doing a crawl, this means to say we are sending spiders. Okay, we are sending spiders to go to websites, and these spiders will, like what a consultant or what a, I don't know, you can call it a spy will do, is to go into all these websites and look at all the pages, look at all the images, look at all the CSS, look at everything, and then give you a full layout of what's going on behind the website. So that is what a crawl does. And not only this is one of the crawler, but if you think about, so if you have always wondered, how does Google go in and understand your website, because Google has their own bots as well. So Google has their own spiders, and their spiders will do exactly the same thing. They'll go into websites and they'll go and analyze every single detail of your website, every single page, like the word count, the header ones, how many words are there, how many characters are there, and things like that. And that is how Google understands your website, and not just Google. With Bing, with the rest of the search engines, they work the same. So we're gonna go ahead and crawl the website again. Okay, and usually I like to make sure I'm not confused. So what I want to do is I want to, and with this client, I already told him that there's a lot of work that's gonna be needed. A lot of work that will be needed, because there's a lot of fundamental issues that's going on with the website, like the URL structure, the wrong canonical tag. Again, some of the stuff that I mentioned is a bit advanced, so if you're not sure, just feel free to ask. Feel free to ask away. If not, then I will just narrate my thoughts. Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff that we'll need to do. Like for example, the page title. Some of the page title length is too long. Meta description length is too long. Header ones, word counts are missing, and then they don't have keyword research done. That's why the page title doesn't have any keyword map to individual pages. So yeah, so we're gonna do a crawl again. Let me just get everything set up. January. All right, I might as well let you guys see what I'm doing here. So essentially, I'm setting the date. I'm setting the date for the data that I want to see. So I'm gonna set it to January 1st to August. And then these are the things I want to see. I want to see the number of users. I want to see the sessions. And within these sessions, you will see the average duration. That means how long people are spending on your website, the bounce rate, how many users are there. And the rest of the stuff is not needed, because with goals, they don't have goals set up. So even if I indicated this, there will not be any things for me to see. Then basically, yeah, that's about it. And then next up, I don't have to set up Google Search Console, because they don't have Search Console set up. And I'll be integrating Ahrefs. So, but I will not be showing that because my API key is there. So essentially that, wait a minute. Yeah, so once all that is set up, all you have to do is just go into the website, put this in, and then they will start to crawl the website. So I think there's some part that's left out, because there are clearly four pages there. So if you're not sure, four pages means that the page is no longer there, and 200 means it's a live page. So there's a bunch of status code, which is weird. because yeah, so uh, so you can see that this is a 404 page, and by clicking on ink links, you can find out what pages are linking to this website. Okay, and you can see over here, these are the 4 pages that is linking to this site, which is a 404 page, and this page is live. And what's funny is they have a canonical tag to these 404 pages, which doesn't make sense. So sometimes when you look at this, you just want to go in a little bit deeper and do a little bit more analysis. So just to double confirm if this is true. So this is a project manager page that is at a 404, and if you can take a look at the canonical here. Yeah, so they have this page that is live, and this page is currently a 404 page, and it has a canonical to this, which is just messy. Because this doesn't make sense, because this is what Google will do. So when you have a page that's live, right, what Google will do, they will go to your website and they will read every single individual page. So when Google lands on this page, they're gonna see that they will follow instructions that you have given them. And what this instruction does is, this is an instruction that is telling Google that, hey Google, do not worry about this page, follow this page instead. So what Google will do is, Google will reach this page and then they will jump to this page instead. Not necessarily jump, but they will reference this page to this page instead. But this page that they are referencing to is a 404 page. So you can see how confusing that is. So that is how Google or search engine reads the site. So if it's confusing for Google, it's gonna be confusing for them to understand what your page is about. So that's why you want to sort all these things out. Okay, so so it seems like, let me see, is there a 404 page here? Because if there is, I don't have to recrawl again. Okay, let me just do a check. There should be a 404 page here. Huh. This is weird. So you can see this is a 404. Oh, okay, so this is the content is a text, so that might be the reason why. Because if I remove as HTML, can I see when this page is created? I don't think so. You do not want to index your 404 page, because there's no reason to index your 404 page. Question is, why is this showing up on... Am I missing something? The question is, why is it showing up here but it's not showing up on my previous scroll? It's kind of weird. So there's a total of 33 and there's a total of 31. So this must be new. Is this new? Let's see whether can we find out if this is a new page. Yep, they don't have Search Console. They just installed Search Console, so I'm not able to find that. But let me see whether can I find it in Ahrefs. So do this. Oh, this is... Nope. So they had it since 2018. And they have one link linking to this page. Okay, so this is just a random link, so it doesn't really matter. So that's weird. That is weird. Why? Why do you This is weird. Why is it showing up here but not here? Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna recrawl everything because I don't want to leave out. Very weird. Okay, what is going on here? Let me see, is there anything with the robots.txt? Disallow PDF. What the hell is going on here? Disallow web content, images, files, block. Bro. So that means they are blocking PDF, which is good. Okay, I don't want to spend too much time getting lost in this. So what I can do is I can do a recrawl. Do I need to do a recrawl? Let me see. I'm in 404. I can just indicate it in here. Yeah, so because this is very minimal, right? I don't want to spend too much time looking at this one particular URL because as usual, there's always a lot of things to optimize for a website, but you kind of want to focus on the ones that will help you move the needle for your business or your website. So I don't want to spend too much time here, so I'll just take a note down. I'm going to move this away. I'm going to just take a note down. Notes for URLs linking to, and then just want to list down these 4 URLs. And then here I kind of want to put a action. Okay, so over here, either link to correct pages or remove the page. Okay, remove these pages. Okay, so that's that. So there's a ton of things. Again, that's why it needs a lot of time for us to go in and make sure that this is right. Just because the whole website structure, it's very messy. Okay, so let's go back to actually, since we are here, I just want to do a quick crawl to see what other generic stuff is going on behind the site. So I know that they have PDFs. So I know that they have PDFs indexed, and they just recently removed that, and hopefully it's gone. Yep, it seems like their PDFs. Yep, so it's still here. So this should be a no index. This is still showing up as index. That is not good. And the reason why you want to no index certain pages is because some pages you don't want Google to crawl. You don't want Google to put on their database, because if you put these pages on their database, it's going to do more harm than good. Meaning if there's, I'm trying to think of a methodology, but I can't right now. So any single time when you have in pages, that means pages that are not valuable. Okay, because in Google's eyes, they want everything to be valuable to whoever that is using Google, right? So if they deem your content or your page as invaluable, they are not going to, you know, reward you, or they are not going to push your page up to their users. So there's a lot of stuff that they will classify it as invaluable or not valuable, and one of them is not necessarily PDFs, but with PDFs, because how they are structured and how they are served is not considered, you know, valuable, right? Because it's a PDF as compared to a blog post, for example. So generally PDFs or anything that is duplicated content, archive pages, author pages, you know, site information pages that's less than 500 words. You don't want it to be indexed on Google. So right now it seems like they are still being indexed. Which is weird, because they already have robots.txt. Yep, so all these PDFs should not be indexed. So they still have PDFs indexed. Yep, still have a bunch of PDFs indexed. Unless that PDF gets traffic, which is very, very unlikely, or unless this PDF has links to it, then you want to do an alternative and maybe do a redirect, or maybe leave it indexed. But generally you want to remove PDFs from your index on Google's index. So you can see, like, for example, this has a no follow link to this page, so it doesn't really matter. If this link is a do follow, then we want to think about other things. But right now we can no index pages like this. So there's a lot of cleaning up, because this what this owner did in the past is they used to hire a SEO guy, and usually if a SEO person don't know what the hell they are doing, that is where the next SEO person will come in and will need to do a lot of cleaning up, provided he or she know what the hell he's doing. So that's what I'm doing right now. So let's go and take a look. What kind of page is this? So this is probably a lead generation page. So this is a site information page. So one of the things that you want to note, right, it's you always want to match the content that you have with searcher's intent. And what a searcher's intent is, you know, that's whenever you type in something into Google, or whenever you type in something on the search engines, right, there is always an intent. So the intent can be, you know, you want to find information, you want to buy something, you want to compare something, you want to, you know, any words that you type into Google, you always have an intent, right? So if you have an intent of, say, buying, okay, you want the content that you're producing to match the person's intent. So let me give you an example. If I type in something like buy Apple, right? Okay, if I go to Google and I type in something like, if you are typing something like buy Apple, okay, what your intent is, hey Darren, what's up? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, so if your intent is buy Apple, you want to be able to buy Apple, right? When you click on search, what's going to happen? It's all these content Okay, essentially what you're looking for is you want to buy Apple. So if you search for buy Apple and the content you see are content like why is Apple good, right? Or you know, um, let me think of something. Pup, 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 pup. Why should you buy Apple? Or if the content is something related to why is Apple not good, right? So these are content that you will not click because your intent of you typing in buy Apple is you want to buy Apple. So that's why you can see on all the pages here, you can see this is buying Apple. So these pages are matching your searcher's intent because your intent is to buy Apple. They are giving you websites that allow you to buy Apple. They are not giving you websites that give you information about Apple because you most likely already have the information about Apple. So what you want to do is you can see over here, all are buying Apple. And this is a good example, right? So yeah, so even this is a discount, right? For you to buy Apple, buy Apple, buy Apple. And that's the reason why all these pages are on the first page of Google because all these results matches your search intent. Now, if you go down the line, if you go to page 10, right, you can see, look, Window Vista, Come Buy Me Love. So all these doesn't match your search intent because your search intent is you're trying to buy Apple, but look at this, the Macintosh Live, InfoWorld, retail outlets. This has nothing to do with what you want. So that's why there's a reason why they are not on the first page. They are way below the first page. So when you create your content or when you create a page, you always want to make sure that the searcher's intent, your content match the searcher's intent. So for this instance, if somebody is searching for Coating Inspectors Australia, what they want to do is they most likely want to find a coating inspector in Australia, right? Whereas this information, it kind of matches the searcher's intent in a way because, you know, these are people that are coating inspectors, right? But you want to think of it is in the searcher's point of view, because if let's say you are searching for coating inspectors Australia, you are looking for coating inspectors, right? And it will make sense that you want to engage a coating inspector. So you kind of want to make sure that that's a call to action here of some sort. You know, looking for coating inspectors in Australia, contact us now, versus just giving them coating inspectors, like individual coating inspectors information. Okay, so I'm not sure whether if that's too confusing, but yeah, just kind of explaining my thoughts here. So let me dive down a little bit deeper. So this is probably a lead general. From this is an informational page, but the what you call that keyword here, the URL here, it's a lead generation page. So I'm just gonna put it as a site information page, and then we can take a look. We can take a deeper dive into it later on. And then specifications, let me just close this. So I'm not sure what specification is. Project specifications. Okay, I'm going to put it as lead generation, just so I can take a deeper look into it later on. So this is one that is getting redirected to a 4.4 page. So let me see, is this page live? Yep, so this page is a 200 page. So this is not what you want, because this is essentially not live on the page. So just imagine if you walk into a house, okay, and you see there's a room, and on the door of the room it says bathroom, right? And when you open it up, it's empty inside. So this is what's happening on this specific page. On this page, it says NACE Level 3 Coating Inspectors in Australia. But when you go into the page, it's empty, right? So this is why you want to make sure that these kind of pages don't exist, because number one, it's bad for user interface. user experience, sorry. Because when a person clicks on this, they are expecting to see some information about level 3 coating inspectors. But when they click onto it, they find that the page is not found. That is not good in terms of user experience. So that's one. And secondly, like I mentioned earlier, Google is not going to understand what's going on here. So I'm going to put this as, I'll put this as notes here. So this is very weird. This is very weird. And I think because, okay, sometimes you want to validate your data a little bit. So when you see over here, the last time we crawled, I think I crawled this around a week ago. So if you see over here, this says that this page is being canonicalized to this page. Okay, at that point in time when we were crawling. But what's happening right now is, if you take a look at right now, what's going on, right? It says that this page is being canonicalized to this page, which is a difference in data. So this will probably mean that from last week till now, there is some changes that is going on with the website, and this is probably because the business owner engaged the word developer, the web developer, and there's something going on in between that because there's an inconsistency in data. So sometimes this is the problem with working with an external developer, because you are getting skewed data. The data is not accurate, right? So, oh my god. So when you're working with when a WordPress developer doesn't have not a WordPress, but when a website developer doesn't have good practices, right? It's gonna cause a lot of things. So for example, if you are changing certain stuff, right? This by right should be redirected to a correct version and not left like that. Okay, because this is gonna, by fixing one thing, the web developer is making additional errors or additional changes that needs to be fixed. For instance, in this case, right? So in this case, what's happening, right? It's, if you look over here, okay, I have no idea why they are changing this, because I don't know what the hell is going on with the WordPress developer. But anyway, if you are, so make sure that when you are changing certain stuff on your website, when you are changing the URL, when you are changing the design, right? But most of the time, specifically with URL, right? Or when you're changing any sort of content, you want to make sure to take care of your previous content or your previous URL. So in this instance, if you're making changes here, this is the old URL and there's a new URL, you want to make sure to do certain changes to this URL. You want to either redirect this old URL to the correct URL, or you want to remove this URL, because right now what's happening is this is a live page. This page is live right now, but there is no content here. So I'm not sure whether it's the WordPress developer, I mean not WordPress, because this is a custom coded site. But I'm not sure whether this is ongoing right now, but this is one problem that we'll need to deal with. So I'm gonna ignore this for now. I'm just gonna put a note. Okay, and again, let's just move on and find out more. So generally about us page are usually site information page. Yep, so you can see it is just basic information. The whole existence of this page, the whole purpose of this page is to give users information about the brand. So this is site information. So let's go to catalog. So you already know, so from URLs like this, right, you already know that catalogs are archive pages. So archive pages are, you know, kind of like housing all the categories. So this is what you don't want to see, right? So for example, this is a catalog page, and you can see that this page, so remember, Google doesn't like websites that have low content or invaluable content. So in this case, this doesn't serve anything at all. So if this is a coming soon page, if you have a coming soon page, you want to either no index this page, okay, or just simply remove this page, okay, and wait until your content is live, then you publish it. Because if you put this page up on Google, okay, and you can just do a simple check over here, okay, this means that the page is live. Okay, if you do a simple site colon search page, this page is live, meaning to say Google has already put this page on their database. And every single time when you put a page on their database, Google is kind of like the judge. They're gonna either give you, you know, kind of like how you know, slam dunk contest, right? When, you know, you do a slam dunk and then the judges hold up, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10. So whenever you have your page indexed, it means to say you have performed a dunk, okay? And whether the dunk is good or not, Google is gonna have a scale of all, with all their algorithms, they have a lot of scale, right? So they're gonna judge you based on the dunk you did. So in this instance, they're going to judge you based on this URL that you have allowed them to crawl. Okay, whether you did it intentionally or unintentionally, okay, they are going to judge you. So based on this, how do you think they will judge you if your website looks, if your page looks something like this? Okay, they're going to judge you, well, not in the best way, because it doesn't serve any purpose. There's not a lot of words here, not a lot of words here, not a lot of content, no value here. So you don't want Google to index these kind of pages. So again, we just classify this as site info, and right now I'm just walking through the process of how we look at websites, but we will kind of think about what we want to do with individual pages when we go in and take a further look. But like I mentioned earlier, we want to classify all these. So our vision, probably another site information page, right? So this is just a information page. And then we go down. So I've already identified these as a lead generation page. So let's go down. Excuse me. So this is what I would consider somewhat a lead generation page. Quoting survey and condition assessment, right? So they're trying to generate quoting survey and condition assessment leads. That's why they have this page, right? You can see. And usually based on, you know, the number of websites that you work with, you can kind of tell which pages are trying to generate leads and which pages are informational pages, which pages are blog pages, which pages are category pages. So this is a lead generation page. Corrosion concrete. So what we do, this looks like a site info page, but the way the URL is structured, it seems like it's supposed to be a lead generation page, but we will go in and take a look, further look into that. Let me just double check these pages. So this is becoming a 404 page. And I think what we'll do for this client, end of the day, right, it's we'll try, because they have an external developer that they're working with. So sometimes the communication gets lost in the middle. So what I think I might do is I might just record a video to, well, sort of like a guide for the developer to take note what things they need to implement, what to take note on, because like I mentioned, sometimes, man, the more they try to, when you pass them information, and if they don't have best practices in place already, by them changing and changing stuff for the better, they are leaving behind more stuff to edit. So let's see specifiers. So there's almost a pattern that every single time when they have something like this, right? When the design is something like this, it kind of says they're trying to generate leads, but I'm not so sure about that. So I'll just leave it as lead generation so I can take a further look. So this is definitely an informational page. Okay, and the reason why I highlighted this tree in green is because these three pages are pages that that means from scratch I work with the owner of the site, and I basically came up with how the whole page is supposed to be like, how many words there are, and this is basically an optimized page. So that's why I highlighted this in green, and you can kind of tell the difference later on. But let me just make sure that I can classify them correctly. Corrosion inspection. Yep, so this is a lead generation page. Dispute resolution. Yep. Lead generation. Free downloads. So for free downloads, this is usually informational page. And like this is not to generate leads. Like you can tell, right? The intent of this content, the intent of the content. So this is more like a resource and guide. Well, actually, to me, that's not much of a big difference for resources and guide. It's just that sometimes resources and guide can rank for stuff. So this is sort of like a resource or guide. So free download. So you see that this is applicators and fabricators, right? And you can see like this is like a free initial consultation. Okay, so in general sense, this will be a page to generate leads, but there's no contact form here. There's no contact us here. So another issue that we found. Project advisory. I'm just gonna put it as a lead generation. So you can see the problem right now. From what I see, right, there's too many lead generation pages. And what will happen is if you have too many, well, provided if you have a lot of services, then you can have a lot of lead generation pages. But if you only have 3 or 4 main services that you're offering, and you have like over 10 pages of lead generation, what's going to happen, it's you're sort of like competing against yourself. And that's this one term that we call keyword cannibalization. So essentially it's you are competing against yourself. So let me see whether can I find you an example here. So you can see over here, this is a corrosion inspection. And let me see whether is there a corrosion. Yep, so you can see like you have a corrosion inspection here, and you have a corrosion control services here. Okay, so they are somewhat almost the same because the intent is the same, to capture corrosion services leads, right? So if you have a lot of these pages, so this is another one, corrosion control concrete coating industry. This is just spamming of keywords. But if you have a lot of these pages, right, what's going to happen is Google will look at your page overall and they will see these three pages and they're kind of wondering, these three pages almost talk about the same thing. So which one should we focus on? So that's one of the things that I noticed right now, and this is only with corrosion, because there is painting. Okay, let me just do a check here. So there is paint here, paint consultants here, paint here again. So that's one thing I'm saying. So a lot of stuff needs to be fixed with this website. So let me see. Project advisory. Oh yeah, so this is a service, so you already know that this is a lead generation page. And then project managers, yeah, so they are, yeah, this is a lead generation page too. So you can see that there's a lot of lead generation page, which is not good. Project planning, so you can see over here, project advisory, project managers, and project planning is kind of like 3 pages talking about the same service. So you just want to have one that is really targeted. Yep. Tendering management. So this is another lead generation page. Okay, so now that we have classified all these categories, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the video because it's taking a bit long already. But essentially now you have an idea of what you want to work on first. So generally you want to focus instead of looking at these websites or these pages as a whole. Now if you look and do this in terms of bulking, so you can look at all the site information pages here first, optimize these first. After you're finished, then you can go on to the next ones, right? So this makes it a lot more easier for you to manage what you need to do. So that's all for the video. I hope some of the things that I mentioned help you guys out. And if you'd like to see more, or if you have any questions, just feel free to leave it in the comments wherever you're seeing, be it on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. And if you'd like to watch me go live, be notified, subscribe, and that's all. Thank you so much for tuning in. Till then, cheers and take care.